Coming up next on the CHGO Cubs podcast, presented by Toyota and Bet365. A series win over the Braves. Taillon returns, but is Porter Hodge back too in the bullpen? Is he really back? We'll find out. Plus, the Carson Kelly game 3.0 next. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? This is the CHGO Cubs podcast, driven by Toyota, Let's Go Places, and Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Use code CHGO365 at sign-up. Well, that's a series win, and that is a close win. Maybe a look at the new bullpen for the Cubs. Like, is that the way Craig Counsell will do things moving forward and possibly into the postseason with Daniel Palencia injured? We'll talk about a lot of that stuff. We'll talk about Anthony Rizzo, set to retire as a member of the Chicago Cubs. Big weekend coming up at Wrigley Field. First, a quick shout-out to everybody in the live YouTube chat. Make sure you tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell a total stranger about the all-new CHGO Cubs YouTube channel. Patrick Norton in the building tonight. Jordan Bernfield in the house tonight. And it's Joey running the ones and the twos.
Anytime you beat Chris Sale is a good night. What's up, gentlemen? Let's have a great show.
3 of the 4 people here have short sleeves. Were they cut by Chris Sale? Cannot confirm or deny.
Where's Drake LaRoche?
Yeah. We want to tell you about something before we get started talking all Cubs stuff, about something special that we're trying to do here this month. Think about your favorite athlete. Every single one of them had a coach, a mentor, a family member who believed in them first, somebody who saw their potential and gave them the confidence to just go for it. That's what Big Brothers and Big Sisters does every single day. They create those life-changing connections for kids in our community. And so for the entire month of September, this month here at CHGO, we're partnering with Big Brothers, Big Sisters of America to help fund their mission. Now, your donation ensures that another child gets a mentor, a role model, a champion in their corner. You could be the champion. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can donate directly by hitting that donation button right on your screen. It's a little handshake button that you'll see. If you're listening on the podcast, please head to bbbs.org/allcity. Let's help ignite the potential of the next generation. Again, for our podcast listeners, that's bbbs.org/allcity. We know times are tough. If you can afford to help out, any amount would be appreciated. Thank you very much. All right, so I guess, Patrick, first of all, I'm a little surprised that they won the series, and considering how they have played the last couple of months, I was fairly happy with the way this series ended up.
Right, and this Braves team, their record is not necessarily a great reflection of the team that they are. There is a lot of star power on this team, and anytime that you have the reigning National League Cy Young winner on the mound against you, it's going to be a tough battle. And this Cubs team battled all night. They had 11 hits, 2 extra base hits, so it wasn't a pretty night, and that only results in 3 runs, but they were solid defensively. They were trying things on the base paths that didn't necessarily work. They weren't extremely successful in that regard, but this was a nice way to wrap up a series that, sure, especially after Monday night, you probably weren't expecting them to come back and win this one.
Our guy Bobby Blanco in the live YouTube chat says, stood up to a dominant lefty, held a close lead, both signs of a winning team. I would agree with that, Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, look, they found a way to get things done. They were 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position tonight. It was not a perfect game, okay? Yeah. But you have to give them credit. Like you said, Luke, I kind of went into this series not expecting the Cubs to come away with 2 out of 3. The fact that they did speaks well of, hopefully, the direction that they're going to go. I think that getting Jameson Taillon back, he was, as usual, the steady Eddie, right? He's not ever going to blow you away, but he's going to keep you in a game, and he's going to pitch solidly, which he did tonight. So I think that was another positive. 4 1/3, 2 earned runs, 6 hits. You'll take that. So I think all in all, it's a nice series win. And we've talked about it, in the several times that I've been able to join you guys. The schedule sets up well the rest of the way. This was kind of one of those series that even though the Braves don't have a good record, they're a much better team than their record reflects because of how many injuries they've suffered. So to get through this series of the win, I say is very positive.
Yeah, I mean, Taillon is an interesting pitcher because I've said here before, like if they acquired him at the trade deadline, he'd have been the best player they acquired.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean he's spectacular, but he's had a lot of quality starts. Technically not a quality start tonight, but it's good to have a reliable, steady, inning-eating pitcher, especially down the stretch when you're trying to save some innings for some of those other guys. Get them fresh again. Get Boyd fresh. Get Shota on track. Maybe taper back just a little bit on Cade Horton so he's got something left in the tank. And so Taillon came in and did his job. Now, what his role will be in the postseason, we kind of touched on it a little bit yesterday. I don't know. But I still think he's a useful piece in the postseason because he's somebody you can trust, right? If he's in, you're looking for your triangle of trust or your circle of trust or your trust tree or whatever you're looking at. Taillon's in it. He's just not like a pillar of it.
Well, I think a lot depends on how he looks. He'll get 2, maybe 3 starts the rest of the way. Mm-hmm. I think that will have a big effect on what his role in the playoffs is. But I also think an underrated part of his return is how everybody sort of slides and slots in that bullpen. It allows Ben Brown to not be a 4-inning out of the bullpen type guy in mop-up duty, where you get to see him close out a game. Sure, it's out of hand yesterday, but where he can come in and just fire the ball for 1 inning of relief and look good in that instance.
I think Pat, I was going to say, I think when you look at the trust circle, I think where Taillon fits in is probably as a key reliever, at least early in the postseason. Assuming that the Cubs have one of the wild cards here, they're going to play a 3-game series to start. You figure that those starts are going to go to Imanaga, Boyd, and Horton. Okay, so if Taillon is not going to start one of those 3 games, I could see him being a immediate reliever if one of those starters gets hurt. I think that's where his value is, and also just being a guy that's a veteran that can help you because he's pitched in the postseason. And even though, Shota Imanaga has a lot of experience in his career in Japan, he's never pitched in the major leagues postseason. And so I think he's a complete wild card in terms of how he's going to perform in a postseason start. So I think Taillon's a guy that Counsell can go to early in a postseason game and feel better about him. I mean, obviously a lot better about it than Ben Brown or somebody of his type in those roles.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago before Cade Horton went on this absolute tear, especially since the All-Star break, I would have said Taillon would have started a playoff game.
Yeah.
Now I would agree with you. I think he's a guy that comes in either after a quick hook for somebody, or maybe he comes in early in one of those games and gives you 3 innings and gets you to a closer or Keller or whatever you might say at the back end. So you use less guys, and then you have the full arsenal moving forward in later games. Like I could see them trying to kind of doctor it that way too. Yeah, Joey.
Well, I would just assume too, like with Jameson Taillon, definitely a break glass in case of emergency type guy when we get deeper into the season. I also think as a veteran pitcher, I don't personally know his warm-up routine, but some of these guys need a methodical, solid 20 minutes to get ready, to get heated up. And once they're heated up, you absolutely have to use them. So he could be a bridge guy in the playoffs, but you just have to be really careful with how you do it. I don't think he's the guy that's coming in a pinch, but he could certainly help us if he's not starting in playoff games for sure.
I think though a wild card series, which the Cubs are going to be in barring disaster, lends itself to those break glass kinds of appearances because in a 3-game series, every inning is critical. I mean, you have to manage it that way. And so I would think that Craig would go to a guy like Taillon potentially in the 3rd inning if his starter doesn't have it, right? I could completely see that. Or if it's a 2-2 game in the 3rd, I'm going to Jameson. I need him for 3 innings. Can he give me 3 innings? So the funny thing, a baseball season's so long that the narrative can change over the course of the year. And where we're at this point, I feel like Taillon could end up resolving a lot of what has ailed him this season by being a key piece in the postseason.
Well, I think I feel more comfortable with Jameson Taillon in that role than Javier Assad as the primary guy coming out of the pen to serve as that long inning guy.
Yeah, but I think Assad, they already said like they're moving Assad now to the bullpen at least during the regular season here. I think that's where he's going to be best in the postseason. I think back to when we got our very first look of him in the World Baseball Classic, and he was playing. I was like, man, I like that guy in the bullpen. And he's had some good moments, both as a starter and a reliever, and Counsell can count on him to do either for the Cubs. But I prefer that he's a reliever for like a couple innings. That's the guy I kind of like. And you mentioned like Taillon, and you're talking about how narratives can change. No, they will change, and they do change all the time, right? And so, knock on wood, something crazy happens, like Cade Horton's blister comes back, and you got Taillon is the guy you can hand the ball to and not be totally panicked that you've wasted a playoff game, right? Or an opportunity. So I still think he's a really good piece of what's going on, and I'm fairly optimistic that of the people that could become key pieces for the bullpen in the postseason, Soroka, Assad, some would say Ben Brown. Who else would you throw in that list of guys that you're not maybe thinking? Brazier could be back, maybe.
Mike Soroka, anyone?
I said,
you did?
Yeah, Soroka.
That would be
Assad,
kind of wild, right? If Mike Soroka ends up having a significant impact on their playoff fortunes.
Playoff hero, Mike Soroka, sure.
I would
giving them one inning this season,
right?
Literally one.
I'd feel best about Assad out of that group.
Yeah.
And most likely. Like Ben Brown, it was a good spot for him last night. Speaking of guys that maybe you try to slide into that bullpen and you wouldn't have thought about it 2 weeks ago. Porter Hodge has been back now. That's the second game where you thought, all right, Sunday he goes 1, 2, 3, gets a strikeout. Tonight, 2 batters, 2 strikeouts, out of the game. First of all, I like building the confidence. Second of all, he does have stuff, and if he could control the stuff, that's why he was pretty good as a closer for a little while. So I'm not giving up on Porter Hodge yet. This is a perfect audition, if you will, the rest of September, to see if Porter Hodge can start to accrue multiple outings like this. I'm not saying in a month you're gonna be like, ooh, he's my closer. Don't put words in my mouth. Don't be crazy. But could he be a guy that gets you a couple of really big outs in a postseason game? I could see it. Well, and I didn't 2 weeks ago.
Right, and to your point there, I think that the Cubs bullpen and their pitching staff really across the board is going to have more pressure than we would have anticipated a couple of months ago, because in the second half of the season, the Cubs have had one of the worst offenses in baseball after having one of the best in the first half of the year. And Kyle Tucker, how he factors into this down the stretch, we don't really know, right? I mean, he's on the injured list. He'll come back. Who knows what he's going to look like? So the point is, it is going to be absolutely essential that the Cubs are able to get outs from some of these guys in the pen that you may not expect to get big outs right now, because I don't foresee them bashing around whoever they play in the first round of the playoffs to the point where they won't need these bullpen arms to have huge outs.
Yeah, who do you think in the live YouTube chat could be a key piece for the bullpen come playoff time? Whether it's Porter Hodge, whether it's Javier Assad, who's been moved to the bullpen, maybe it's somebody else we're not thinking of. Let us know, and we'll read some of the comments coming up after break. We're also going to talk about the Cubs offense against Chris Sale in this game, and I'm curious where Jordan is on the wheel of worry with Kyle Tucker. But first, a word from our sponsors.
With the Bet365 early payout offer, you're a winner if your team goes up by 17 points with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. Download the app and use code CHGO365 when you sign up. After the Bears game this Sunday, maybe put a little action on Sunday Night Football in the $365,000 jackpot that Bet365 has going on for you. You can place a $10 bet on the first touchdown scorer and get a split of $365,000 in bonus bets if your player scores the final touchdown of the game. Breaking news from Bet365. New customers now get $300 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use the code CHGO365. Deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER in-app only.
All right, let's be real for a second. The world's gone soft. Everybody gets a trophy for showing up. Everything needs to be bubble wrapped. Soda used to have some kick. Now it's all about pretty colors and easy fizz. RC Cola is not a soft drink. It's just a damn good cola. It's the original cola that doesn't fold under pressure. RC is the OG in a cola world of spineless soft drinks. No trends, no gimmicks, no glow up. RC Cola hasn't changed their stripes since 1905 because they don't need to. Same bold, crisp flavor it's always been. It's like a punch in the thirst. Do yourself a favor. Grab some RC at your local store. Stock up for summer parties, fall parties, back to school, or just watching a football game or playoff game. RC Cola is the move for whatever you are doing. Cubs win 3-2 here with Patrick Norton and Jordan Bernfield and Joey Christopoulos. I'm Luke Stuckmeyer. We had asked before the break who might be your surprise player for the bullpen that could make a contribution in the postseason. And our guy Shane Newbank says Rizzo is a dark horse to help the bullpen. We will get to Mr. Rizzo in a moment, but he is, without question, the greatest reliever in baseball history.
Struck out Freddie Freeman.
He sure did. Today it was Chris Sale on the mound, and that, by the way, Sale is a guy that I wanted the Cubs to convince, even though he was hurt. Convince the Braves. He'll never be the same. Trade him to us. Here's some prospects. Boy, he would have looked good. However, tonight, Cubs did get 3 earned runs off him in 5 innings, 9 strikeouts. I believe he struck out the first 8 batters.
If not,
I thought he was gonna go Kerry Wood on us. I was a little worried. It was like struck out the side, struck out the side, struck out the first 2. But he didn't. And Nico was the guy that really had his number. 3 hits. I love Nico, especially obviously against a lefty in the leadoff spot, but I'm now fully on board with Nico is our leadoff man. The Busch experiment is over. I could see a scenario where Happ is the leadoff man if things go great the next 3 weeks by the postseason. I think that's actually the ideal scenario, is that Happ would get on a heater and you would put him in the leadoff spot. But I'm also totally okay with the season that Nico has had, just saying, man, go give me good at-bats at the top of the order. He's not a prototypical leadoff guy necessarily, but I love him there.
I would like Nico in the top spot because he makes consistent contact. And I think that when you look at the Cubs lineup, early on in the season, we were seeing a lot of these guys hit with consistent contact. I don't think that we have seen that as much, at least down the stretch. Nico Hoerner is one of the exceptions there. And, is he a guy that's going to give you a 400 on-base percentage? No, but he gives you a high enough on-base percentage, and because he hits so frequently and can make contact and put the ball in play and do something at the top of the lineup, and the fact that he runs reasonably well, I think that for all of those reasons, I'd rather see him there. Now, what you're saying about Happ makes sense because of the switch hitter. But to me, yes, Happ walks. Yes, Happ gets on base, but there's too much swing and miss there. And so I'd rather have a guy that's going to hit me a single, has a chance to steal second, and Nico Hoerner, than a guy that's going to walk and then strike out twice.
But when the Cubs offense was at their best, that's where he was at.
Yeah. Well,
so if they could ever get back to that, maybe that's the formula eventually. But right now, I wouldn't move him there.
Yeah.
What do you think, Pat? Like, you like Nico as the full-time leadoff man?
I do.
Or are we going to do game by game? Oh, roll the dice.
I like him as the full-time, and part of the reason why, too, is I'm a traditionalist when it comes to the lineup building. Mm-hmm. And not only are you getting the contact, you're getting someone who has a good eye at the plate as well, and you're also getting like top quality speed. And I think the speed factor is something that is lost when you throw. Even Ian Happ is a fine base runner, but not a quick guy. Or Michael Bush. You lose that edge, and it's why so many people have wanted to see Pete Crow Armstrong in that top spot, but he just doesn't get on base with the same rate to justify that. So that's why I like Nico in that spot, and I feel like we've been campaigning for that for quite some time.
Well, and it's also a little bit of, at this point, it's so deep in the season, and we've gone 12 rounds with all these different people in our lineup of like, who's hot, who's not, can we get him back on track, can we get him not back off track? You know what we haven't had that conversation with this year? Nico Hoerner. Right. By far our most consistent hitter in this lineup, so why not put him up at the top of the lineup? And to your point, one more traditionalist maybe way to think about it is he's the only guy in the lineup that honestly isn't going up there to hit for power, isn't going up there to hit the ball over the fence. That's not his game. Even Matt Shaw tries to hit the ball hard and pull it. Nico Hoerner is just simply trying to hit the ball square and get on base. So why not roll with it for a little while and see how far it takes you?
And the crazy part is, think about the way his season started. Off-season surgery, spring training. First during Cubs convention, we get a picture of him with this big apparatus on his arm. You're like, ooh, wait a minute. That's more of a surgery than I thought. Then you see him at spring training, and you're like, he's still not contributing in games. And you're thinking, then he's not ready for going to Japan. And prior to those injuries in offseason, everybody thought there was a good chance he was getting traded because the Cubs were going to have to mix it up, and you're going to have to trade one of your position players. And teams would find value in Nico Hoerner, and you had a second baseman who was very good defensively but gave you very little power. And so I count myself included, even though I've always loved Nico, I count myself as one of those people that said, I wouldn't riot if they traded him for the right player. Good thing they didn't. Good thing they didn't. He has been Mr. Consistent, and hats off to him for a great season.
Second highest WAR on the team. Nico Hoerner, 5.6. And it's not just the defense. I mean, look, he is a limited player in a certain way, and I don't mean to say that as a negative. He just is. He doesn't hit for power. He can't hit for power. He has 6 home runs this season. As Joey said, and you're right, I mean, he doesn't approach at-bats consistently looking to drive the ball past 30 feet beyond the dirt into the outfield for a single. But he is a consistent and just skilled player all the way through. And I agree with you. Look, I don't know what it says about the Cubs that he has their second highest WAR. It's honestly probably bad that that is the case, but he deserves credit for being a very solid player.
Well, it's the Moneyball mentality. It is the he gets on base thought process. And I think another part of that, too, is, especially when it comes to the WAR conversation, is you couldn't have guessed that before the season, and you certainly wouldn't have guessed it right before the All-Star break, I don't think, either.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of the way that things have transpired over the last couple of months.
Tyler's saying in the chat, Nico is a rare commodity in today's Major League Baseball. Can I make a weird connection to football? Just because
tis the season, why not?
I've been thinking about Caleb Williams, like every Bears fan, a lot the last few days. Caleb Williams, for instance, would be well served to pull a little Nico Hoerner into his game. Do all the little things. Do the small things. Just be Nico Hoerner right now before you try to be PCA, before you try to be Kyle Tucker. What I want to see my Bears quarterback right now is I want that guy to play like Nico Hoerner, somebody I can depend on to make not only the average plays, but even some good plays. But you've got to get the basic stuff down, and Nico is Mr. Dependable over there. Am I crazy to think that, like, if I had to pull a baseball player comp, Caleb Williams is like a lot of different players on the Cubs. Maybe he's like PCA, but I want him right now to be like Nico Hoerner.
And you could argue that 9 for 10 that Caleb Williams started with on Monday night was a lot of throws into the flat, right? It was a lot of Nico Hoerner style, right? It was a lot of dink and dunk down the field, not trying to take too many shots. Now, obviously, it turned out that he needed a little PCA or Tucker in his game because he was not seeing receivers downfield that perhaps he could have connected for a big play. But I agree. I mean, look, we sometimes take players for granted, like Nico Hoerner, because, they can have a 2 or 3 hit game and it's 2 or 3 singles and they make the plays that come to them and they're just solid major league players. But, I do think that he has provided them a lot of value. He is someone that's been on this team for a long time and seems to have the respect of his team, and he deserves some flowers. He's a good player. I mean, look, he's another one of those first-round picks at the end of the teens that has proved to be a very good draft pick by, the Theo and now Jed regime. I mean, all you can ask for when you draft a guy in the first round is that they are a regular contributor to your major league team at some point. You can check that box with Nico Hoerner.
If Nico was on another team, a rival team of the Cubs right now, we would hate him.
Right.
Because he's constantly coming up and doing something small. You're like, man, he's that guy. Yeah. I figure other teams really can't, the fans of other teams really can't stand him. Did anybody know 2 extra base hits tonight? One was Justin Turner's double.
Legging it out tonight.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
The other, Carson Kelly's 17th home run. Speaking of giving somebody his flowers, there's been some bad at-bats and some big strikeouts the last couple days for Carson Kelly. I can't believe their backup catcher has 17 home runs. And thank goodness with the injuries to Amaya, he's had this type of season. Because if he didn't, we'd all be sitting here saying, wait a minute. I thought there was nowhere to go at catcher but up.
And look,
but without Carson Kelly, man, you'd really be looking at this differently. 17 home runs. He might hit 20 home runs this year.
If I told either of you guys before the season that Carson Kelly was going to, you wouldn't even.
No, Jordan, I would not
entertain it.
No.
You would never have even thought that was in the realm of possibility. I mean, honestly, I think we all expected that if Miguel Amaya was healthy, that he was going to play the majority of the games. He would be a solid offensive player, but mostly a defensive catcher, and that Carson Kelly was going to play once a week. I mean, the idea that in April he was basically like Barry Bonds and then obviously tailed off because he was never going to keep up that production, but at least through the year, yes, Luke, you're right. He has had some huge strikeouts that have consistently grayed my hair further. However, he overall in totality is a positive for this year's team. I think Jed deserves credit for finding this guy. And they signed him for nothing, and he has been a good offensive catcher this year.
It's not his fault that he's batting cleanup or fifth. Like it's right. It's not like.
Well, I mean, for all the lineup construction stuff, and I'm not usually the guy that wants to do the lineup stuff, but that has been a confusing point the whole year. That, like, I understood it in April when he was homering every day.
Right.
Okay, fine. But basically since April, why is this guy batting fourth every game? Like,
the on-base percentage, and obviously they were drinking the Carson Kelly Kool-Aid early on in the year of him thinking that this is who he was, and I'm telling you, Cubs fans, that's not who Carson Kelly is. The best part about this is it's nice to see him rebound and start hitting the ball hard again after having, I think, maybe the best stretch of his career. Those first couple months went kind of reverted back to the mean, and now he's hitting the ball hard again. And look, it's been really nice of one of the weird intangibles about a Cubs offense that we've been very frustrated about this year. But the production from the catching position has been something that I don't think a lot of major league teams get the luxury to have. Sure, you have your JT Realmutos, you've got your Will Smiths, but not every catching battery puts up the type of numbers that the Cubs catching core has. And Patrick, that's like special teams, right? It's kind of like that little extra that maybe we're not paying so much attention to, but we're getting a lot out of that spot that maybe other teams aren't.
Right, and it's a position that, as Tyler kind of points out, they've had success from the catching position in the past, with the exception of the last few years, really without Wilson. Tucker Barnhart, to name
Tuck.
And I don't even want to try and rack my brain to think of who else has contributed to that spot. Yan Gomes.
Yan Gomes had 1 year where he was defying age.
Yeah, a great year.
Yes.
And then we went into the next year thinking, all right, so Yan Gomes is going to be a big piece of this lineup, and that didn't happen. Carson Kelly, I wouldn't necessarily count on being a big part of the lineup next year, right? If he were back. Carson Kelly's career high, by the way, is 18 home runs. That was back in 2019. That was his first year with the Arizona Diamondbacks. It was also his first year as an everyday guy. He did that in 111 games. Tonight was his 99th of the year with the Cubs.
Interesting. All right. That brings me to a question as we head to break. If you're a gambling person and you had to parlay 3 Cubs players that would hit a postseason home run this year, would you include Carson Kelly in your parlay? Think about that. Let us know in the live YouTube chat. But first, a word from our sponsors. At Toyota's national sales event, they've got a long lineup of vehicles for summer fun. Hey, Cubs fans, Toyota has 25 vehicles available right now with all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. Get ready for the fall with the RAV4, legendary versatility. The Grand Highlander's adult-sized third row is for real, and the Tacoma's wild side, that comes standard. From job sites to campsites and game nights, there's all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive Toyota to get you there in style. Find yours at Toyota.com or visit your Chicagoland Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. What a time it is to be a CHGO diehard right now. Upgrade your fandom today. Get access to our exclusive written content, a free t-shirt, plenty of discounts on future merchant events, plus access to the sizzling CHGO Discord Lounge. Go to allchgo.com for the latest information on how you can join thousands of CHGO diehards already in our community. We can't wait to connect with you on an even greater level.
Hey, coaches, listen up. If you're looking for more athletes to train, Eye on the Ball is where you need to be. It's simple. You create your profile, upload your background check, and boom, you're in. New promo for coaches, free 6th month. Then just $50 a month or $500 for the whole year. Athletes of all ages and all sports can find you directly. And here's the best part. Eye on the Ball doesn't mess with your schedule, your payments, or your business. You're in full control. We just connect you with athletes who are already looking for a coach like you. So if you are ready to grow your coaching business and reach more athletes, go check it out right now. EyeOnTheBall.net. That's EyeOnTheBall.net. Don't wait. The athletes are already there looking for you.
And more importantly, they're CHGO diehards, these people. Big fans of ours. We love you.
Thank you.
We support. All right, Cubs win 3-2. I asked before we went to break. All right, if you're gambling and you're building a parlay for 3 Cubs players to hit a postseason home run this year, which 3 players would you put together in your parlay? Nikki D says in our live YouTube chat, Carson Kelly, Ian Happ, Dansby Swanson. That's a pretty good one. I would include Carson Kelly because it just seems like a Cub thing to happen, right? And also would increase my return on investment if it happened. I like to win big if I'm going to win. So Carson Kelly is on my list. Now, whether or not I would go Tucker and Bush or something like that, I probably only want to go with one guy that I think is going to hit that home run. But the Dansby, right now, the Dansby one is not crazy.
No.
And the Happ one's not either. Who would you go with, Jordan? Pick your 3 players.
I was thinking about Dansby, but he strikes out in big moments a lot.
Okay, so who are your 3?
I think my 3 would be Happ because he's going to get the at-bats. PCA because PCA has a flair for the dramatic.
Especially if they play the Padres or Dodgers in California.
Yes. And I think my 3rd would be probably Bush. I mean, assuming they face right-handed pitching, he's going to get a lot of at-bats. And, I mean, I don't feel good about those. Right now it's hard to pick any Cubs to feel really good about for a home run.
That's what's crazy.
But I think that's probably my 3 with very low confidence.
Well, and I think why Carson Kelly fits into this conversation so well was what was on display tonight, and that's a Cubs lineup that couldn't hit Chris Sale. They're down 1-0. You have this sense of dread of, oh my gosh, they're going to lose this series to this team that is under 500. And suddenly, who steps to the plate and rips one, I believe, in a full count maybe, and just right over the left field wall? none other than Carson Kelly. And that's I there have been several moments like that this year where it's just been the, I don't want to say unsung hero, but the unlikely hero. And Carson Kelly fits that mold perfectly for this Cubs team.
KM is picking Nico, Kelly, and Suzuki. Says Suzuki is overdue by far. Real Dude 73 is picking Carson Kelly, Matt Shaw, and Michael Busch. Who would have thought Matt Shaw would make one of these lists a couple months ago?
I like
Not
the
in
Matt
Japan, you would've
Shaw.
thought that.
No.
Yeah, I like the Matt Shaw a lot, though, because what do we keep talking about? We keep talking about matchups and lining up your best guys to face the people in the middle of the order. And where is Matt Shaw? At the bottom of the order. And if he could sneak attack on a fastball in a playoff game, I like him yanking one down the line and over the fence a little, because he might not be facing their best guys, or you know what I mean, in some sort of playoff matchup. I like that one a lot.
How much money would a Justin Turner, Carlos Santana, and Nico Hoerner parlay
What was the
make you?
Powerball last week when somebody won it?
Yeah.
Almost $2 billion, I think.
Yeah.
I didn't win. Still here.
I mean, look, it's not crazy to think.
Even if you won? Okay.
Yeah. I think
Noted.
if you won the Powerball, you wouldn't be
my
seeing
Twitter
much of
would
Luke
be
anymore.
gone. There would just be vacant.
Yes.
And I would be long
First
gone.
one to the
Yeah.
monthly Google
Yeah.
Meet meeting.
Yeah. I think it's not crazy to suggest Turner, because
Justin Turner?
Justin Turner is going
This
to.
is the craziest thing that's
Okay.
ever been said on this podcast.
Carlos Santana would be
All right,
crazy.
go ahead.
Where's the
Justin
reality
Turner
spray?
is probably going to get a big at bat in a postseason series, because I think Craig is going to look at it like this is a veteran who has been in these moments, who has been in a ton of huge games with the Dodgers over the course of his career. I can rely on him to give me a solid at bat. So it's not crazy to think he's not going to start, most likely. I mean, unless there's a left-handed starter, he could get a start in a postseason game.
Oh, he better not, Jordan. I don't want to see Michael Busch on the bench in the playoffs,
imagine-
right?
I agree, but
Can
I'm
you
just
imagine
saying, I don't
Turner
think it's
rounding
that
the bases
insane.
like Kirk Gibson in a postseason?
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think it's highly likely, but could I see it? Yes, I could see it.
I don't see it happening unless John Lackey is on the mound.
Do you realize what's just happened? I asked for 3 names. Nobody said Kyle Tucker.
No one said Seiya Suzuki.
Nobody.
Okay.
Somebody did. Somebody put saying that said
Oh,
they're overdue. KM
and-
says
and-
Suzuki's
So,
overdue.
look, I love
Nobody
KM,
mentioned
but-
Kyle Tucker.
Well, I mean, look, Kyle, you asked me about my worry meter with Kyle Tucker.
Yeah, on the worry wheel, what percentage are you at with Kyle Tucker?
Honestly, it's not that high, and the reason is I do believe that for them to advance in the postseason, Kyle Tucker obviously has to be on the field and perform. That being said, second half Kyle Tucker has been almost nothing offensively for you, except for against the Angels for 3 days. Okay?
Yep.
So day to day over the course of the last couple of weeks of the season, I would like to believe that Kyle Tucker would make a big difference in the lineup. The evidence is not there. So if he's there for the postseason, then fine, because obviously, like, you'd like him to get a few games before the playoffs, but I mean, this guy's played in so many playoff games. I don't know that that really matters. I think that's just going to be fodder that gets over-discussed. The reality is, yes, they need him to play. Am I worried about it right now? No, because he's done nothing. I mean, if he was out there, put it this way, it's probably better for our collective health as Cub fans that he's not out there stinking. So if he just doesn't play for a week, it gives us all a break, and hopefully he could come back and find something for an October run.
I'm with you on that the sitting might be the best thing that could happen right now. So that doesn't impact my worry meter. Worry meter.
Worry
Worry meter.
Say that 5 times
Worry meter.
fast.
Worry meter.
Yeah.
But my worry meter is higher than yours because he's the most important player. They're going nowhere unless they get Tucker right.
Right, but
They're going nowhere
It's
without
last
him.
year's team without him.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
look, they just need him to be in the lineup September 30th. Okay, it's September 10th. He's got
I'm
20
not worried
days
that
to
he's
get
not
healthy.
going to be ready. I'm worried
Yeah.
that he's not going to be productive.
Well, right, but the one thing I would say when it comes to the baseball postseason, and to me, it is why baseball is my favorite sport and why I love the sport, but it is also extremely maddening and frustrating as a fan. It's that all season you build for this large sample size to try to win more games than an opponent because it's more predictable to be able to do that. In a postseason series, they play a 3-game series, best of 3 series. You have no idea what's going to happen. Kyle Tucker could get 6 hits in those 2 games. He could go 0 for 6 with 6 strikeouts. The amount of variability that occurs in these wild card games are what make them such incredibly compelling theater. So, of course, you want Kyle Tucker in the lineup, but a guy that you expect to perform could easily do nothing in 2 games, and a guy that you expect to do nothing could easily be great for 2 games, and that's sort of the beauty of this whole thing.
Well, I hate to rehash a sore subject, but what are the odds right now that the Cubs get a 30 home run hitter at this point?
Oh, I think it's still happening.
You think Pete's going to hit 2 more?
I think Pete will hit 3 before the end of the season.
He's at 28 right now. He just needs 2.
He's
right?
at 28, not 27.
Yeah.
He'll hit a couple.
Currently, you have PCA, Suzuki, and Tucker, who I believe have combined for 8 since the All-Star break.
I mean, I thought they had guaranteed with Bush, Suzuki, Tucker, and PCA.
And Dansby was cruising
And
for a
Dansby.
second there.
Take those 5 players. I thought we had guaranteed 3 30 home run hitters halfway through the season. And I thought one of them was very possibly a 40 home run guy. We're hoping somebody gets to 30.
I think we all thought in early July that it was not crazy to suggest that Pete Crow Armstrong was going to be 40-40 this year.
Yeah.
And now, and 30-30 was like obviously going to occur. And now we're on September 10th, and he might not get to 30 home runs. I mean, if you had to bet right now.
If he goes 30-40, we all would have,
it's still
jumped into Lake Michigan.
Hold up
100%.
Second.
100%. But it's
pause the game for 15 minutes.
I think that when we look back on Pete Crow Armstrong's season, his 2025 season in 5 years, we're going to go, man alive, was that a great story, and the way that he came through and the way that he came out. But the way it feels today, if he doesn't get to 30 home runs, it's like, man, was it a fall.
I think PCA will get there, and I do think, even though Seiya looks terrible, Seiya will get there because they're going to face some teams that are just marching out minor leaguers before it's all said and done. There'll be some real weak pitching that last back half of September, and they'll get to face some guys where they can feel better and hit some home runs.
Well,
I think both get to 30.
And that's what's been so disappointing about Seiya in recent weeks and now a couple of months, too, is that tonight, obviously, he's in the field. He'll play the field a little bit more with Tucker sidelined for at least another week. He's your designated hitter. It's his job. And it's his job to provide you power. I mean, we're talking about how, well, it's all right that Nico Hoerner doesn't provide power because he's a great defender. He's great at contact. He's great at getting on base. That's not his goal when he goes to the plate. Seiya has done nothing to instill any sort of confidence, at least for me, that he can reach that 30 mark. Obviously, yes, there is the idea that playing some inferior pitching down the stretch, you play the Pirates, you play the Cardinals, you'll play the Reds. That could happen. But just at this moment in time, it's hard to just not be so disappointed with what you've gotten from him.
To your point, Pat, okay, in the second half of the season, 47 games for Seiya Suzuki. You know what his slugging percentage is?
No.
267.
I was going to say $150.
Okay, he is batting
Too pessimistic.
200,
Feels like $150.
327 on base, 267 slug, OPS of 593. Okay, and now for the more traditional statistics, in the first half of the year, he had 25 home runs and had 77 RBI. And Luke, I heard you mention this on the podcast recently. And there was a point during the year where Seiya Suzuki was leading baseball, okay, in RBI. Well, he's got 2 home runs and 13 RBI in almost 50 second half games. I mean, you said he's doing nothing. He is doing nothing. There has been no production from, and obviously it's not only Seiya.
No.
With Kyle Tucker's struggles and PCA struggles, they've been a completely different offense. But, man alive, I mean, you look at some of these numbers, and to be fair, like, I don't even know how Jed or Carter or anyone in the front office could, I mean, you could run 100 billion simulations of this, and this is like almost beyond the pale, right? That a player would be so productive in the first half and then completely the opposite in the second half. But that's what they've gotten this year.
All right, we've got to take another break. We do want to talk about Rizzo announcing his retirement today, what that means this weekend moving forward. We got some exciting stuff to talk about there, and I will ask you, for your power rankings here in Major League Baseball, where they stand tonight. So let us know, 1 through 5, who are your 5 best teams in baseball right now. But first, a word from our sponsors. Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake is slashing prices on new cars and giving you big savings all month long. Come in today to shop the model year-end sales event and drive home with employee pricing on every new Chevrolet model. You can get $3,000 to $11,000 off MSRP, or check out their selection of over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000 right now. With one of the area's largest Chevy inventories, you're sure to find the perfect vehicle for you. And as one of the top selling Chevy dealers in the Midwest, they're able to keep their prices competitive. Plus, you know you're going to get a great deal. With Ray's Price Promise, they let you shop confidently because the price you see is the price you pay. Don't miss out on their model year-end sales event going on all month long for employee pricing on every new Chevy model. Shop Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or raychevrolet.com. They've been serving the community since 1963. Together, let's drive.
You know that moment, the one where you realize you left your favorite sunglasses at the beach.
The worst.
Or on the roof of your car, or at a gas station 3 states away. Yeah. Well, I've been there too.
Yeah.
I actually have replaced 2 pairs of Shady Rays, thanks to them. But that's why I found Shady Rays. And to change the game, these sunglasses are made for real life. Seriously good-looking, polarized, durable, and not stupidly expensive. And here's the wild part. If you lose or break them, even on day 1, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair. No guilt trip, just replacements. So now I wear my sunglasses without fear. On hikes, at concerts, on the boat, wherever. Shady Rays is eyewear that has your back. We've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. Head to shadyrays.com and use code CHGO for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
Cubs win 3-2. Luke Stuckmeyer talking with Patrick Norton and Jordan Bernfield, and our guy Joey Christopoulos running the 1s and 2s. I asked before the break, just for your power rankings, just to throw these numbers out there. So I'm curious what everybody thinks are their top 5 teams in baseball right now. The Brewers have the most wins at 89. The Phillies are next at 86. Then you go to the Tigers at 84. The Blue Jays and Cubs, 83. Dodgers at 81, Astros 79, and you have the Mariners at 77. How would you put the power rankings, Jordan, for the top 5 baseball teams right now? Do the Cubs make your top 5?
Right now, I know that their record would suggest it, but I don't know if they do. Just because if you look at their second half, they've been basically a 500 team. Mm-hmm. I mean, you could say the same thing about the Detroit Tigers as well. I think that right now the best team, or at least the scariest team to me, is the Phillies.
Yeah.
I think that Schwarber is having an amazing year, but it's not just him. There's so much firepower
50
on
homers.
that team. Ranger Suarez seems to find it in September every year, and he's doing it again. I think that Wheeler being out hurts a lot. I don't think that there's any great team in baseball this year, but I still think the Phillies probably are the scariest. Then I would say the Brewers. Then I would say the Dodgers. And then I would say probably Toronto. Mm-hmm. And then I think that my 5th team, I think would just be Houston, solely because even though Houston has lost 7 of 10 and they're not trending well, it just seems that franchise just locks in September and that they're going to figure it out. There's no evidence right now to suggest that they will, but I still think that because of their history that the Astros are just a tough team to knock out.
I like
right
that list.
Now, those are my 5.
I like that list. I like the Cubs 6th, I think. If I had to put a power ranking, I think have the Cubs just on the outside. Are you cool with his list?
I like it. I think I'd probably have the Dodgers higher, and the only reason why is because I feel like in the playoffs in the playoff structure that currently exists in baseball, it's power and stardom, and the Dodgers have both of those things. They don't really have the pitching staff for it right now. They're a banged up bunch, but I just can't imagine facing or seeing that lineup card come out in the morning and thinking, well, we've got this. No,
when it's all said and done, it's still
you've got a guy up and down that lineup in just about every position.
I just worry about their pen. I agree. I mean, look,
Sure.
I agree. The Dodgers, top of their lineup is ungodly, and Ohtani's the best player in the world. All agreed. But their pen, I mean, last year they got some big-time performances out of that pen, especially in the NLCS and in the World Series. And I don't know who they're running out there right now. They've just had a lot of injuries. It's been a weird karma year. But, yes, if the Dodgers lock in, they're the scariest team for sure.
Yeah, I got to go. I'm just going danger factor here. The Dodgers still scare me. I'm going number 1, the Dodgers. Number 2, the Phillies. Number 3, look, we saw the Toronto Blue Jays. They beat us up pretty good. They got some good starting pitching. They got some thumpers in the middle. I'm going with them, number 3. And surprisingly enough, last time we did this, I had the Seattle Mariners as my dark horse. I'm actually going to move the Detroit Tigers back into the top 5. Ooh. Just because Scooble twice in a 7-game series. Casey Mize is having a really good year. And, Luke, I am going to put the Cubs in 5th.
Oh,
I'm going to sneak us in the back.
Positive over here.
Sneak us in the back here. No one can see my face. Yeah, well, I'm telling the truth.
Nickname, I guess not. I didn't even mention the Rangers or Padres, but some people would say, or even the Mets, but we'll see how that unfolds. All right, so Anthony Rizzo says today, that's it. I'm officially retired. Going to sign the one-day deal with the Cubs. They'll honor him this weekend on Saturday. He claims he's going to sit in the bleachers for a game. Can you imagine the chaos of Rizzo in the bleachers?
Well, we've already gotten Rizzo in the first row of the first base.
I mean, they're going to have security all around him.
Hopefully he's not bringing his infant to the bleachers
Oh,
yet.
goodness, no.
Yeah,
No.
don't do that. But look, when I woke up to that news today, my first thought was, this is the right thing.
Yes.
Anthony Rizzo was the face of the best team in Cubs history. He is the face of the era that ended the curse. It was like when we were talking about John Lester a few weeks ago. I mean, in my view, the two faces of that era were Anthony Rizzo and John Lester. And Rizzo is sort of the modern Mr. Cub for the younger generation that didn't get to see Rhino play as much and don't maybe appreciate his career the way that we would, Luke. So I think this is great. I applaud the Cubs for doing it. I was there last year when, just as a fan, when Rizzo came back with the Yankees.
That was very cool.
And to feel that crowd just showering him with love and support. I mean, you could see Anthony choking up out on the field, and it just sort of hit me like, it reminded me, man, I mean, this guy, he is the heart and soul of that era. So good on the Cubs. In a few years, you can give him his blue jacket to put him in the Cubs Hall. You can let him kiss babies and sign autographs for years to come at Cubs convention. I think it's the right thing.
He's going to be a team ambassador. I was worried. There was just a little part of me that was worried that the departure and the trade and the contract stuff had soured him on the Cubs just a little bit.
Right.
That it wasn't going to happen. But I think this is just a guess. I have no inside information. I think maybe when he came back to Wrigley Field with the Yankees, and it was like Taylor Swift and Elvis both walked into the building at the same time, right? Like everybody was just, Rizzo's here, Rizzo, and they were bringing his foundation was on the field, and like you said, he got choked up on the field, and the ovations. I think if there were any hard feelings, that Rizzo realized, this is where I will always be remembered. This was the greatest moment of my career, and I need to be a part of it now that it's over. So I'm super glad. We only have like 7 minutes left. What are your favorite Rizzo moments? I would say if I had to do top 5 trades in Cubs history, I would think that Rizzo for Cashner's on that list.
100%.
I mean, Arrieta's on there, Sandberg's on there. We know those two are on there.
Yeah.
Rizzo is probably also on that list.
I mean, I think to me it's
top 3?
Absolutely on there. Probably, yeah.
I don't know. People always argue the Mount Rushmore thing. I don't know, but what are your favorite moments for Anthony Rizzo? The obvious one is the final out of the World Series, him jumping up. That's probably the greatest one that everybody will always remember. Heck, it's probably going to be the statue when they do the 2016 statue someday. But what about trying to fight the Reds? Was that his other signature moment?
Going to battle on behalf of Nate Shearholtz.
Yeah, with Chapman, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I think that endeared him to Cubs fans.
Oh, yeah.
And is one of the reasons why he's so popular. For me, one of the moments that really stands out was in Game 6 of the CS in 2016 when he hit the home run off Kershaw, because it was like everything was building. The Cubs already had runs. Hendricks is mowing them down. And then, like, the captain, so to speak, Rizzo, just freaking bombs one off of Clayton Kershaw. And you're like, they're going to do it.
A nail
in that moment, you're
yeah.
like, they're going to go to the World Series. And I still get chills. It's playing in my mind's eye. Like, I can see it. That was such a magical moment when he hit that home run. And so, yes, I think for a lot of Cubs fans, it's going to be when he tried to fight the Reds, sort of endeared him to the fan base. I also think, too, when he came up, right, it was 2012. It was right at the beginning when Theo all but admitted that the Cubs were going to stink for a few years until they could build it up. And other than Castro, who they inherited, this was like the first cookie that the Cubs fans were given. Like, we're going to go lose 100 games.
Pitcher for him.
Yes, but this is going to be one of the guys that's going to be part of this run. And so for him to have been there for the few years leading up to them finally breaking through and winning, and then obviously the years after, look, as an adult, he is one of the few athletes that I can think of that still made me feel all the feels when I got to see him last year.
For me, it's the little things. It's the tarp catch. It's the 14-pitch at bat that results in a home run. It's the, I don't remember the year. It was either 18 or 19 where he hurts his ankle real bad. And you get the picture online of his ankle just being swollen, black and blue. And he may have sat a couple of days, but in a pivotal game that they need him to come into, who's there? Anthony Rizzo, right up to the plate. And you know that he's available for the game. You don't know if he's going to get into the game. And that intoxicated walk-up song comes on, and everybody in the ballpark is into it. And those are just the moments that you think of. For me, Anthony Rizzo started playing for the Cubs, I want to say I was 12, 13 years old.
Oh my God.
Don't you dare.
I'm going to leave.
I'm turning the lights off.
I'm going to leave.
That's an important part of my Cubs childhood.
I had sciatica back then, Patrick.
Right. I'm trying to think back. Little League, I was emulating Derek Lee. I had the high arm batting stance. But Anthony Rizzo, you would see kids or you would see people in high school just trying to be Anthony Rizzo at the plate. And it's why I loved playing first base. It's just all of those things. He is a hero to so many people, and it's awesome that he is coming back as soon as he's walking away from the game too.
We will have our normal Friday 120 club on Friday. I'm hoping that is the game that Rizzo is in the bleachers. Now that would be a vibe.
If he was a real sicko.
If he was
a real Mai Tai guy and Rizzo,
right,
now we're talking.
Sitting right next to Bleacher Jeff.
Yeah.
Squeeze between Bleacher Jeff and Mai Tai guy and Braggs.
Anthony Rizzo is helping him Google where the right fielder went to high school, right?
Yeah.
So he can razz him.
Is Rizzo going to make a cup snake?
Oh, a cup snake.
Exactly.
That's good.
Yeah.
Saturday, by the way, we'll have a special Saturday 120 club where we will meet at Murphy's Bleachers just like we do. And if people want to buy their bleacher tickets and all sit together on Saturday for the celebration, that will happen too. All of it's going to be a lot of fun. I think back to 2012 when right after they made the trade, they sent me, at that time I think it was Comcast Sportsnet, sent me to Iowa, drove in the car to Iowa to see Rizzo and interview him. So I interviewed Rizzo and Brett Jackson, and I can't remember who the
Josh Vitters?
Chris Russin.
Chris Russin.
Were the three players I sat down with talking about the future of the Cubs. And Rizzo looked right at the camera that day and was like, the future's coming, the future's now. And I was like, ooh, chills. Like, what? This guy gets it. How did he know that to say that? I had chills going back all the way to Chicago, and man, did he live up to the hype. Man, did he live up to the hype.
Quick note, Carlos Santana and Anthony Rizzo, two first basemen who have as many hits for the Cubs this year.
Oh, I thought you were going to say related. But
no, not quite.
Never mind. All right. Thanks to Jordan for coming in, Patrick as well. We will see you for that Friday 120 Club. Thanks for checking out the CHGO Cubs show podcast presented by Toyota and Bet365. We are back on Sunday with a live show. Corey and Brendan with a show tomorrow, and then all the Friday 120, Saturday 120 as well. Until then, thanks for watching, and as always, don't forget, fly the W.
We all silly like the mayor.